Hello, welcome to Oxford Heirlooms. Today we're going to start creating the fancy puff sleeves for the day gown. Okay, now I'm not going to be working with the sleeve pattern pieces today, so I'm going to set them off to the side, but I will be working with my Entre and my 1/2 inch French edging. Okay, my 1/2 inch French edging. Now, in this particular pattern, I have written in my instructions that the cuff for my little gown needs to be 7 inches long. So I'm going to cut a piece of Entre. Now, if you'll notice over here in front of my sewing machine, I painted a ruler onto my sewing machine table with a gold paint pen, and that comes in real handy. So using this ruler, I'm going to measure, let me see if I can't straighten that one out real quickly. I'm going to measure 2 pieces of Entre that are both 7 inches long. There's the first piece. And here's the second piece. Okay, so I can set my Entre off to the side now. Let me change this camera angle just a little bit. Okay, now what I'm also going to need to do is I need a piece of lace that's 1.5 times the length of the Entre so that I can gather that on. So I'm going to measure my Entre one time, fold my lace in half, bring it over, fold it in half for a third half. As you can see, I've got 3 halves now. And then I can cut a piece of lace. Now I've got 1 piece of lace that is 1.5 times the length of my Entre, but I'm going to need 2 pieces, so I'm going to lay another piece of lace next to this first piece and clip that. Okay, got that clipped. Okay, so I have 2 pieces of 1/2 inch French edging that I'm going to gather and zigzag to my Entre. Now, as I have done in other videos, I need to prepare my Entre. So using my embroidery scissors, I'm going to cut away the Entre from one side on both pieces of my Entre. So that will take me a minute. Okay, so I have trimmed my 2 pieces of Entre. I've got my 2 pieces of lace that are 1.5 times the length of the Entre, which is going to be my little cuff. Now, the next thing I need to do is I need to use a silk pin, and I need to grab one of the gathering threads from out of the header and gather this lace until it is the length of the Entre. So that'll take me a minute to do. Okay, so I have pulled this little header thread until the lace is roughly the same size as the Entre. Now I'm going to set my machine to zigzag and the appropriate stitch length and stitch width for sewing Entre. Then, as y'all have seen me do before, since I don't use a lace attaching foot, I'm simply going to butt my lace up next to my Entre, and very carefully I will start zigzagging the lace to the Entre. I'm going to put my needle down on one side to make sure I'm in the Entre hole and not stabbing the Entre ladder. So I can very carefully start zigzagging this lace to the Entre, making sure I don't get any kinks, because this lace is such a narrow little lace that it's easy for the little gathers to kink up on top of one another. And that, you can see that when you sew it onto the Entre. So this will take me a couple of minutes to sew. Okay, so I have created one little cuff, and I need to repeat these steps for the second little cuff, but that will take me a minute. Okay, so I've got both little cuffs created. So what I'm going to do next, in order to finish preparing them to sew them to the sleeve of the garment, I'm going to fold them in half and put a little blue mark right in the center of the cuff. That's where I'm going to line it up with the center bottom of the sleeve. So I'll do this on both cuffs. Draw a little dot right in the center with my blue fabric marking pen. Okay, so now we're ready to begin to prepare the sleeve and attach the cuff to the sleeve. But creating the little fancy cuffs is what we were doing today. So thank you.